Before we get started, we have Dr. Tony Romans. If he would please, sir, lead us in our invocation. And of course, Commissioner McCam, if you attend to the pledges.
Test 1, 2. Pray with me if you would. Holy Father, today we are humbled in the presence of a Bethlehem and Calvary's love. To demonstrate the extent to which you'd go to love us and redeem us. We think of the message of peace on earth, that Christ's presence makes peace available. Father, we pray today for that peace to be received by every heart. Our city, our county, state, and even our country, Lord, today would move towards you and move towards peace with you and one another. Father, we pray for the work of the court. We thank you for our judge and our commissioners, and we pray for them and their families. God, today that your purposes would be accomplished in and through their work. Father, we're mindful of our law enforcement personnel and the great service they do to us, and we pray for your favor and blessing on them, and God, other first responders who often are the very first to extend your care to many. God, today we just again are grateful for the blessings and favor you shed on us every day. May we not be lost in the abundance of your grace, but may we be humbled by it and love you more. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Dr. Romans, thank you, sir. Well, the time is 9:02, and we do have a quorum, so we will call this meeting to order. Remind everyone to please be sure your phones are silenced. First up is citizens' comments, and I do not believe we have any at this time. So item 1, consider and take action on minutes from previously held meeting of Commissioners Court on November 24th, 2020. Any additions, deletions, or comments?
Hearing none, Judge, I move that we approve the regular recession Commissioners Court meeting on November 24th, 2020 as presented.
I'll second this motion, then, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Thomas to approve the minutes of November 24th, 2020 as presented. All those in favor of the motion? The item passes. Item 2 is consider and take action on refund requests for overpayment of taxes from the Henderson County Tax Assessor Collector. And we have Ms. Lovelady with us today. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a check for $2,839.99 going back to 21st Mortgage for a repo on a mobile home that is no longer there, obviously.
You said this is due to a repossession?
Yes.
Okay.
And it just wasn't caught. So when it was caught, obviously we own the money back.
Okay. Questions for Ms. Lovelady?
I had one that did come up just now. So does this include their, the lot? I mean, are they getting a total refund back, or do they still own the lot?
This is just for the mobile home.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Tooley, to approve the refund request for overpayment of taxes from the Henderson County Tax Assessor Collector. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Item 3, consider and take action to reappoint 3 members of the Henderson County Hospital Authority Board. Gentlemen, it's come that time of year again, and we have received a letter from Mr. Bennett laying out the 3 that are eligible for reappointment, being Ms. Susan Laird, Ms. Julie Smith, and Mr. Orville Bevel. These individuals have served and have expressed a desire to continue to serve. And are there any questions or comments?
How long is the term, Judge?
2 years.
2-year term? Okay, thank you.
Like with most, we have staggered positions,
Exactly.
and if I remember correctly, these 3-year terms, I believe. And it's a 9-member panel, is that correct? Memory serves, it is.
Okay.
And they rotate annually. Any other questions or comments? For those of you that do not know, the Hospital Authority is a creation that is charged with managing of the lease of the hospital property. Been in effect since the late 80s and continues to be an asset in the management of that wonderful asset, especially during this time of the pandemic, as we have in the hospital. So, any other questions or comments? Entertain a motion.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we reappoint the 3 members, place 1, Susan Laird, place 2, Julie Smith, place 3, Orville Bevel, to the Henderson County Hospital Authority Board for the term of 3 years.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Richardson, to approve the reappointment of Ms. Susan Laird, Ms. Julie Smith, and Mr. Orville Bevel to the Hospital Authority Board. Are there any further discussions? If not, all those in favor? Item passes. Excuse me just a minute. Item number 4, consider and take action on approving the District Attorney's Office to use funds not to exceed $14,500 of seizure fund monies as salary supplements for a total of 4 new hires.
Good morning, Judge.
Good
Commissioners.
morning.
Good morning.
Did you all get a copy of the resumes that I sent over?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
So I will be taking over as district attorney on January 1. I have 4 employees that will be coming on January 1 as well that I would like to supplement their salaries with the DA's office seizure fund. The first is my first assistant, Danny Cox. Danny is board certified in criminal law. He is currently the first assistant in Van Zandt County. He was a prosecutor here in Henderson County from 2011 to January of 2019. I'd like to supplement his salary with $6,000. The second is Bridget Bateman. Bridget has been a lawyer since 2006. She worked in the district attorney's office from 2007 to 2015. She also has experience in civil law, and I'd like to supplement her salary with $2,500. The third is Karen Bertoni. She will be my victim coordinator. Karen is multilingual. She has a master's in lieu of thesis. She was the victim coordinator in Gregg County for about 10 years. She has experience as a forensic interview for the Children's Advocacy Center. And I'd like to supplement her salary with $1,000. And the last is Buddy Hill. I would like to supplement his salary with $5,000. Chief Hill was has been a law enforcement officer since 1991. He was the chief of police from February 2006 to August of 2020. And so I'd like to supplement his salary with $5,000.
Questions? In your...
I want to make sure that I understand that this is clear that these are supplements given from the DA seizure fund and have no effect on our salary plan. That is correct, isn't it?
Yes, that is correct. Whenever funding is used from the DA seizure fund, it must have approval of Commissioners Court for expenditures. The actual salary amounts, this is funded outside of our normal salary structure that we have. It's not uncommon that this is done. It's been practiced for a number of years through the DA's office under several administrations, and also under the county attorneys. They have a different fund, the hot check fund, that is able to be used that supplements, except.
So on the supplement,
when we come into budget on next year on 2021 for the 2022 budget, this won't be money that's going to be rolled over into their annual pay. If you give it again, it'll have to come out of seizure fund the next time also.
That's correct. I'm asking for it to come out of seizure fund
Seizure
to be a
fund.
supplement to their salary.
Okay.
But it does not come out of the budget.
Okay.
About where is our balance on the seizure fund? Do you know, Jenny?
Sure. The last time I spoke to Mr. Hall, we were around 130,000.
Okay.
So I wanted to make sure that I was accounting for how much was in it and how long I would like these employees to be here with me.
Exactly.
No, he asked my question.
One thing I would like to say, testimony here is a little different from the backup that was presented to us. So we're looking at Danny Cox, 6,000,
Correct.
Ms. Bateman, 2,500,
Correct.
and the young lady, Karen, what was,
Bertoni, 1,000.
Bertoni, 1,000, and then Mr. Hill, 5,000.
Correct.
Okay.
If I misspoke, I apologize.
No. In our backup that's in the packet, it's different from what it was being stated here, and for our record, I wanted that to be
Thank you.
correct. So, I do want to thank you very much for your assistance, and we had some discussions prior to for the court, working with the court to help hold the actual salaries that hit the budget down, and we do appreciate that very much. Thank you for your efforts in that.
Thank you.
So, are there any other comments or questions? Entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the district attorney's office to use funds not to exceed $14,500 of seizure fund monies as salary supplements for the four new hires.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Richardson, to approve the district attorney's, the district attorney's office to use funds not to exceed $14,500 of Caesar fund monies as salary supplements for the four new hires. All those in favor of the motion? The item passes. Thank you very much. Item 5, consider and take action to apply for the Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program. And we have Ms. Brown with us today, our expert and grant extraordinaire that we have worked tirelessly this year.
Thank
So-
you.
What do you
Good
got for
morning.
us, Ms. Brown?
So this morning, we are asking that we apply for the Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program. The county will be applying on behalf of the Henderson County Volunteer Fire Departments to supply them with radios. We are looking at most, each department will be receiving around 5 radios for their departments. We do look currently, we do have 22 departments. Of those 22 departments, we do already have one department that is opted out, which is Athens. The rest of the departments, they will have to be considered eligible, which means meeting the requirements of our fire protection contract that we have with them, as well as any added requirements per the application. There is a 10% match for this funding, and it is a FEMA funding through the Department of Homeland Security, but the departments will also be responsible for that 10%.
Okay.
You said most of them will receive 5 if we get the grant. Is that 5 mobile or 5 portable?
It is the mobile units. If you remember correctly, during the meetings that we've had, and we have Mr. Jared Mills with us here today, who's actually the one that came across this grant here. And I will ask him to come up in a little bit to visit with us. But this is, if you remember, we prioritize. They prioritize what their needs were for going to the new system. And they had pagers as number 1, mobiles as number 2, and portables as 3. And this grant is an opportunity to help fund our volunteer fire departments to be better equipped as we move on to the system. Mr. Mills, would you like to come up and give some background to this?
Yes. sorry, I didn't bring the, nope, had to brought a computer today instead.
Perfect.
So with this, I think what you was looking at was, we was looking at getting the 5 XL200Ms, which is the tri-band radios. Along with that, what we're trying to really gear toward here is outfitting all the apparatus. That's our primary concern with the radios. And then, if allowed, we've still got some finagling to do, for lack of better words, but trying to get at least 10 portables per each department. When we started this, we sent everything out to all the fire chiefs in the county. As of date, right now, I've received back the paperwork from 12 departments. And then, like she was saying, Athens opted out, so we've still got a couple that we hadn't received their grant paperwork back. But right now, as we stand, the cap on radios grant is $1 million through FEMA, and that's taking out the few departments which we hadn't received their information back. And I know I'm reaching out to them. I think Jody's reaching out to them today to find out where they're at on the paperwork. We gave them the cutoff data this morning.
So when is the deadline, Jared?
According to the grant writer we talked to, the 10th, we have to have everything to them so that they can actually start all their research, all their spreadsheets, and compile everything together for the regional grant side.
I can touch more on what he's referring to when, for the grant writers. We are asking that we use a consulting service, which is the Victor's Consulting Service, because it is such a large funding that they are familiar with, so we would be contracting with them to gather all the information from all of the departments. They will input the information for us, but we will finalize I will finalize the requests at that time. So they will only be gathering information and putting it together to make sure that we have the most, oh man, I lost my words, competitive funding out there. It is something that they have done multiple times and have been successful at applying for and receiving. And that's why Jared had suggested and done his research on using a consulting since it is such a big task.
And the cost of this is a flat fee versus a percentage fee?
Yes, it is a flat fee of $500 for each organization that participates, or that is allowed to participate. So if all departments participated, it'd be $10,500, which
is placed upon the county, which the idea is to use the leftover funding from the Enchanted Oaks Fire Department, which is no longer a incorporated fire department. And in our budget, we had budgeted for them the rural fire protection money, redirecting that, since there's no longer a fire department, to help assist in this grant to get this equipment in for our departments. And it is a county grant, so the equipment will be managed and inventoried and audited by the county in the years to come.
yes, and we will, each department will be required to sign an MOU with the county in regards just to this equipment outside of our normal contract with them.
If we don't get awarded this grant this term, so talking with Vickers, if we don't get awarded the grant this term during this FEMA cycle, they will reapply for it next year for us, but it's not the full amount. I believe it's either $50 or $500, and they will reapply for every department again through the same AFG grant.
So if they're unsuccessful through the first time for $500 more, they will reapply for us, or at least do the certification so that we may be able to reapply.
And there's 10% matching?
There is a 10% match that the departments will be required to pay. make sure that's very clear in our MOU.
And that information has been sent out to the departments as well. If the grant is awarded, based off the total radios that they will be receiving, what the total amount for the department is, and then what their cost share match is. So they're already aware that they will be responsible for the 10% match if the grant is awarded to the county.
Okay.
So, once those, let's just say, let's move forward and say we get the grant. And the radios get here, who is responsible or who's gonna pay to have them installed? Or the department's gonna pay to have them installed in their apparatus?
Correct. Yes, the departments will either install them themselves, or they will be responsible for having a company install the radios in to their apparatus.
And then once they sell that apparatus,
That
that radio
radio,
will be pulled out?
correct, that radio will always remain property of Henderson County.
Okay.
And one of the great benefits of the system that the county is putting in, that is standing up, is that we will be able to know the activity on each and every radio. That way, if the allocations of radios are where there's several of them sitting in the closet and not being used, they can be reallocated out of this. So when you have a situation where equipment is outside of our immediate control, there are avenues of reporting and auditing for that equipment so that it remains with the county. Any other questions or comments? Now, this is a grant that that we need approval to apply with the judge's authorization to
Yes,
sign?
you will need the authorization to sign the consulting agreement.
Okay. Gentlemen, are there any other questions or comments?
I'll make that motion
Second.
with the judge's signature.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Tooley, to approve the application for the assistance to the firefighters grant program with the judge's authorization to sign. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. Mr. Mills, thank you very much for your hard work. Ms. Brown, you as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's an interesting side note for those that care. This has been one of the most successful years we've ever had with grants, and we're hoping we can keep this moving forward with this because it will be a great boost to the volunteers that provide our fire protection services. So thank you both. Item number 6, consider and take action to reappoint a member of Emergency Service District Number 1 Board of Commissioners located in Precinct 1. Commissioner Thomas.
Yes, Court. In Precinct 1, we have ESD, several ESDs, but we have ESD number 1, which is located in Precinct 1, that has a board member that his time is up, his term is up, and he has wished to go a couple more years, and he just volunteered to serve on this board. So today I'd like to present Woody Glover to be put back on the ESD board for ESD number 1. He's a volunteer. These guys are, and all these volunteers, the Hospital Authority Board, these people need to be thanked for the work they do. It's a pretty not very thankful job, I wouldn't think. So I know what they do, we really appreciate, and I wanted to thank all of them that do serve. But today I have one that's up. I do have another opening that we're actively looking for a member for ESD 1. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to.
Questions for the Commissioner? Entertain a motion.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we reappoint Mr. Woody Glover to sit on the ESD board from board number 1, which is located in Precinct 1. His appointment will expire December 31st, 2022.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Tooley, to reappoint Mr. Danny Glover to
Woody.
Pardon?
Woody.
I said Danny, sorry.
That's all right.
I can't read my own handwriting.
Hey, Woody is the one I nominated.
Woody Glover to the Board of Directors of ESD number 1 for a term to expire in December 2022. All those in favor of the messed up motion? Aye, it passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Court.
Item 7, consider and take action to accept a donation of $5,246.50 from Walnut Creek Cemetery Fund for material used on Walnut Cemetery Road located in Precinct 1. Commissioner.
Yes, Court. In Precinct 1 Cemetery, there is it's called Walnut Creek Cemetery. The road going in, the little driveway going in, a little short road, was terrible shape. Parking was terrible. They came to me and asked if we could help, and I said with an interlocal agreement we could, or I brought it to court, and I did that earlier. We actually did the work just recently, and just by them providing the materials and us doing the labor with our equipment and our people, we were able to give them a nice little driveway and a nice parking area. So today I have a check for $5,246.50 from the Walnut Creek Cemetery Fund as a donation for the materials used on this project.
Questions for the Commissioner? Entertain a motion.
Okay, Judge, I'd like to make the motion that we accept the donation from the Walnut Creek Cemetery Association for the amount of $5,246.50 for road material only.
Second motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner McCann, to accept a donation of $5,246.50 from the Walnut Creek Cemetery Association for road material use on parking lot repair located in Precinct 1. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes.
Thank you, Court.
Thank you. Item 8, consider and take action to appoint Josh Chappell to the Henderson County Fair Park Board to replace Danny Davis for a 2-year term. Commissioner?
Yes, Judge. Danny Davis, I think, has served on this Fair Park Board multiple times and lengthy times, and he replaced an expiring term, and his term expires at the end of the year. And speaking with Danny about Mr. Chappell, he was in favor of Josh taking this over and being appointed, so I'll entertain any questions.
Questions for the Commissioner? I will say one thing, as Commissioner Thomas relayed earlier, the importance of these volunteers. Everyone up here knows the service Danny Davis has given us on this board for over a decade, and plus coming out of retirement to fill a position for us is much appreciated. So I want to be sure that was known. So, Commissioner?
I move that we appoint Josh Chappell to the Henderson County Fair Park Board for a 2-year term, replacing Danny Davis on January the 1st, 2021, with his term expiring December the 31st, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Richardson, to appoint Josh Chappell to the Henderson County Fair Park Board for a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2023. All in favor of the motion? Item passes. Thank you, sir. Item 9, consider and take action to accept a donation from Big Creek Construction of Lorena, Texas for crushed concrete culverts. Commissioner Tooley?
Yes, Judge. I was approached by a superintendent from Big Creek Construction that's doing some construction work out on FM 59 outside of Athens, and they are removing these concrete culverts and replacing them, and wanted to know if we would be interested in picking these up. And I said we sure would. So I also visited with our county attorney, and he said that it would run it through court. So here we are today. It's going to help us and across the county to have this stuff. So whoever is going to want them, bring your trucks.
Questions for the commissioner? Entertain a motion.
Judge, I move we accept a donation from Big Creek Construction for crushed concrete culverts.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner McCam to accept the donation from Big Creek Construction for crushed concrete culverts. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. Item 10, consider and discuss an update from the Henderson County Animal Shelter Advisory Committee and the Athens Animal Rescue Shelter. Mr. Tooley, Commissioner Tooley.
Judge, after all this pandemic and everything, I asked you to put this on the agenda because I think this is a great thing that is happening in our county and goes back to what we did in 2019. The advisory committee kind of pushed off their committee meetings that we have to meet 3 times a year by state regulations. And so we have completed that as of last Friday. And got the people that we needed on the board. We've got the City of Athens with Chief Hill resigning or retiring from the City of Athens. His spot was open. We had a little bit of time in the first meeting where they didn't have a representative, and now the City of Athens has gone and put Elizabeth Borstadt on as the city representative on the advisory board. So now we had, for the last 2 meetings, we've had a full slate of advisory. Yes, we met in October, November, and December, but there's fixing to be some great things that's fixing to be told to you. So today we have Lynette Ainsworth, that is from the Tool Shelter, but also is an advisory over at the Athens Shelter. Gretchen, and I can't remember what her last name is, but the shelter director of the Athens Shelter here in Athens, and Jennifer Miller, that is the shelter manager. We have passed the state inspection, and I'm not going to steal their thunder because they have the good words. So Lynette, if you don't mind coming to the microphone and telling the court kind of what we've gone through. You know, you got to remember back when when we were going through the contract, we got it through, and then closed down or nobody being able to come in, but they've done some great things. So Lynette, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. And again, I'm Lynette Ainsworth. I'm the board president of actually both shelters, the Humane Society Cedar Creek Lake and also the Athens Animal Rescue Shelter. With us, as we mentioned, is Jennifer. I'll kind of tell you a little bit about the players. We had Gretchen Spinner, who was on our board, who actually came in as an interim temporary position as the shelter director to help us get it up and running and things running smoothly, to find that right person that's going to continue running the shelter as the shelter director. So we were able to find that right person, and that's Jennifer Miller, who has been an employee of the shelter almost 10 years. So we were really excited to be able to promote her to that position and allow Gretchen to move back into another volunteer position, different things that she's doing to help us out. So that's kind of how things worked out for us. And I'll tell you, I don't normally like to talk about euthanasia rates, and I know Commissioner Tooley's going to ask me. So, so I have kind of prepared a little information to share with you guys today to explain how that works. And we actually took over, it was 8 months ago, the 1st of April. We took in almost 1,500 shelter pets, those being cats and dogs, and we actually found homes for 1,130 pets. When you look back prior to April, our estimates were the ED rate was as high as 80%, unfortunately. And I'm happy to say that it's 13% in the last few months. So That took a lot of work from the team members, so I'm going to give them credit and kind of tell you some of the things that they've been able to do in order to get that rate. When you look at that, there's a lot in the mix. There's aggressive, there's injured, and there's sick animals that are in that mix. And that's part of the reason we don't like to talk about that, because some people go, wait a minute, that's still not good. That is phenomenal when you look at what's in that mix. But what has happened and transpired over the last 8 months is the dedication that, we had a reputation that we needed to change in the community, in that we're going to go and do adoption events and we're going to do everything we possibly can. These guys actually, what they call the homegrown transport, because there is no transport van. So they rented vans, they rented vehicles, and they took their personal vehicles, and they actually traveled. They told me they traveled 13,000 miles in 8 trips to take animals to get adopted. They went as far as Michigan, even to Mexico, Canada. I mean, they were going everywhere to try to get the animals. As we know, other parts of the United States has areas where animals get adopted, and unfortunately Texas is not one of them. So they did some things, again, to do what it takes to get the animals, homes. They also started a foster program where we had numerous during kitty season. So they were able to take in 100 of those cats into foster care. They also just recently was accepted into the Petco adoption partnership in November, and that allows the shelter to bring animals to Petco in Tyler. So that's another avenue to get animals out and adopted. One of the things I've mentioned before in the past that's been a big lifesaver for the animals has been the ASPCA. They're a big corporation, and they actually visited the tool shelter a year and a half ago, and we were able to get accepted after about a year of different things we had to do. So my goal was, once we took over, that we were going to continue to ask the ASPCA to come to Athens to also be accepted, where we can have animals on their transport vehicles and move them out. The staff really cannot continue to do what they're doing, which is renting vehicles and so forth. So with that, about 3 weeks ago, the corporate people from ASPCA, after knocking on the doors, they finally came to Athens and they did an inspection. And they were very impressed with all the things that these guys have been doing. They said, though, that we had a deficiency in the cat cages. They were very old and rusted, and it would take, once we decided to look at replacing those, it was $30,000 to replace those cat cages. So we decided that we're going to take that mission on and start raising some money. And actually, a personal friend of mine, who's a cat lover, said that she would match up to $10,000 of her own money if we started raising the money. And I first thought, oh, this is going to be tough. Well, good news is that we're really close to that. She just gave me a check today for $10,000. I also raised another $12,000, and we're getting close to that. So we're going to be accepted in the ASPCA program in a matter of weeks. So those are some good things, and that will relieve, again, the staff from having to travel all over the country, and we can get these animals rescued quite quickly. So I also want to make a note, too, that the money from the contract that the county gives us, that money is strictly for the daily operation of the shelter. So these other things that we need, we do fundraising campaign. And another good success story is, as I mentioned, we don't have a van. If the animal has to go to the vet, go to foster, again, it's personal vehicles. So the staff decided to do a campaign, and we actually needed $30,000 roughly, actually $27,000 to get a van. We got $5,000 from Tri-County Ford that gave us a $5,000 discount to get this van. And guess what? We raised that money. So we're going to get a van mid-December, a brand new van that we can transport the animals to the care that they need. So that was another very good success story that the community has come forward to help us out. But bottom line, we're saving animals, and that way the community sees what we're doing, and now they're supporting us. So we're really blessed in all the things that we've been able to accomplish by doing some of those things. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you see Jennifer, who is the shelter director now, and let her talk a little bit about some things that the county has worked with on some of the shelter improvements. So Jennifer.
Hello. I'm Jennifer Miller, newly director, because very used to use as a feed room to provide additional cat housing and isolation. We had somebody come in and put in walls, some drywall, did the texturing, got us some new lights so we could see really well in there. Added a door instead of just a bay door, so it's really nice. You gotta come out there and see. We created a puppy play pad made out of concrete where the puppies who have not had all their vaccinations can go out and play and not be prone to get the puppyhood diseases that's in the dirt, such as parvo. We purchased new dog kennels for our animal control pavilion. There's 10 of those coming. We're very excited to see the first mock-up of those and see, just how much better they are. The ones that we have up there are about 20 years old and they're rusted. Every corner's broken off. It's really a sore eye to go up there and see right now. So very excited for that. We purchased new cat condos from Shoreline to improve the living conditions for our cat population and to also get approved by the ASPCA. I'd like to also thank the city and the county for helping with facility improvements, such as the county replaced the quarantine kennel gates when we first started in April, so we passed our inspection for that. Like I said, those were rusted and just not compatible for an aggressive dog to be in there. The City of Athens removed an old, dangerous Morgan building that had been there for many years that was falling through the floor. We're very happy to see that gone. Let's see, they did the electrical work also that had to be kind of moved around since that building got moved. I just really want to thank y'all. Every time we have a question about maintenance, I can call and talk to Elizabeth. I could call the maintenance guys that I'm familiar with now, and they just help out so much. In the City of Athens next door, I can walk over there and ask them anything, and they're just right there to help. So I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have any questions for me?
Gentlemen?
We appreciate
It's been a
it.
good journey so far.
Yeah, we
8 months have
appreciate
been
the work.
wonderful.
Yeah, the work y'all have done is amazing. Good stuff. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Ainsworth, is my math correct? Y'all have raised almost $60,000 between the van and the other things that you mentioned here? You're closing in on $60,000 raised.
We're about 50 right now, so we'll be close to that by the end of the year, yes.
Fantastic, in 8 months.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, and we've applied for some grants and fundraising, so the combination of those two.
I think hearing all the information that these ladies have given us today, just, this has weighed heavy on the court for a couple of years now, since the county had to take over the shelter. And I think it just goes to show that we did make the right decision.
mm-hmm.
And then January and February to turn this over.
Yeah.
We appreciate the work y'all been doing.
Lynette, will you come back to the microphone? I'm grinning ear to ear because it was a hard decision for me because that was one of my first in 2019. I knew it was, or 2018 at the end. I knew it was going to be a hard decision for us, and myself would be one of the first major decisions that I would make as a commissioner. But I think I knew what they had did on the west side of the lake, and outside the courtroom we're friends, and I knew that what they did and that kind of stuff. So that's what I knew what they had did before. Talking with Commissioner Thomas on the phone 2 or 3 days ago, we were back and forth, and he said, I said, when you hear what you are going to hear Tuesday, you'll be elated about the decision that we all made. But also, this might not be the time to do it, but we have a media here. Can you talk about your event that you're hosting this Saturday?
Yeah, we're doing it's called Jingle Paul's Strut, and it's a little walk to bring your dog over at the Maybank Pavilion. It starts at 9 o'clock this Saturday, and it's another fundraiser. We have sponsors that have helped us. Both shelters will be participating. We'll have some Christmas music by not the one and only there, Scott Tooley.
Oh, you didn't have to say that.
So I did rope him into that.
No.
I do like to rope him into that. But anyway, we have a lot of volunteers that are coming out, and people are paying to participate. It's just a little fun walk, and there'll be vendors at the pavilion, and we'll all be doing social distancing and doing the right thing. But it's another fundraiser that we're trying to do. And we've also done one earlier in the year for the other side of town, and as we move forward with Whiskers and Wags and those big things that we can do once we can do additional person-to-person. But it didn't stop us. We did a virtual one, just so everybody knows that we couldn't do our normal in-person one. So we were creative, and it was kind of painful to do a virtual fundraiser. Took a lot of work, but we got through it. So we've got plans that we're going to just continue to do some of the things that we're doing. We're not stopping, and I'm real proud of the team that we put together to be able to do the things. Because the bottom line is we're saving so many animals in our community compared to what's going on. As we say, we have so many irresponsible pet owners, and maybe one day that'll change. But in the meantime, we're going to do what we can to save every single animal that comes to us. So thanks.
Well, thank y'all very much for all of your efforts.
Lynette, the
Jennifer,
van, I'm
all
sorry,
of you.
excuse me. The van, is it going to be used at both sites?
No, it'll be just, we
It's-
actually have a van for Tool.
Oh, I thought there was.
Yes, and we were actually kind of borrowing it from time to
Okay.
time, but this van is...
It'll stay at Athens?
It'll stay at
Okay.
Athens, yeah. Now, we do have a transport vehicle that hooks up. It's a trailer that hooks up to the van that we've also been using for both shelters.
I see.
And that's kind of like an adoption, when we have an adoption event, and the sides open up and you can actually see the animals inside. That's something that we use at both shelters. And the beauty of this too, if I can say that part of the funding too, we were a little short with the van. We used some of the fundraiser money from the tool shelter to help us out. And that's the nice thing, is that, Athens has been struggling for a while until we got to where we are today. So we moved some money, that's the fundraising money that we use to help each other out. So.
Well, again, thank y'all very
Thank you,
much.
yes.
As Commissioner said, this is just more or less proof that what we all struggled through previously was well worth it to get to this point.
Yeah. And we were a little hesitant, I'll be honest, because we had, we came before you guys and said we were going to do this, and so, but I tell you that, again, Gretchen, and there's another lady named Mandy Carter, and also, Jennifer. I mean, I give these guys credit. They're the ones who were there every day at that shelter making it happen. So we got a good team, just so y'all know.
I want to give Athens a thank you as well, because they've been a great partner in this, sounds like.
Yes,
So-
most definitely, as Jennifer mentioned. So thanks, guys.
Well, thank y'all very, very much. We appreciate it. Gentlemen, anything else before we move on? All right, then let's move to item 11, which is receive the financial reports, and we have the combined JP financials for all 5 of our JPs. They will be available for viewing after court upon request. So, item number 12 is consider and take action on payroll distributions and accounts cash sheets. And do we have Ms. Harris or Mr. Bynum with us?
Yes, I have my weekly 24 payroll code.
Gentlemen, questions, comments? Entertain the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve payroll disbursement total bi-weekly 24.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Richardson, to approve the payroll disbursements for biweekly 24. All those in favor? Item passes. Thank you, Ms. Harris.
Thank you.
Item 13, consider and take action on submitted contracts, and we have none this week. Item 14 is consider and take action on requests for right-of-way permits, and I believe we have one in Precinct 3. Commissioner?
Yes, I have one from Bethel Ash Water Supply Company. It's a road board across 3918 from property to property. Bethel Ash takes care of what they need to do out on our roadways. So if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Questions for the Commissioner? Entertain the motion.
I move that we approve the right-of-way proposed utility line activity for Bethel Ash Water Supply Company for a road board across 3918 from property to property.
Second.
with Commissioner's signature.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Richardson to approve the right-of-way permit for Bethel Ash for a road bore under County Road 3918 with the Commissioner's authorization to sign. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. Item 15, consider and take action on submitted budget amendments. Ms. Lee?
Yes, we do have those today, and I want the court to be aware that we did include the auction proceeds in these amendments today.
Gentlemen, questions? It appears that the auction was considered a success.
I think so. I haven't heard any complaints, so I'm going to say yes.
I know that since we moved to the online auctions a number of years ago, the results have been drastically improved.
It's so much easier too.
Gentlemen, questions or comments on the budget amendments? Entertain a motion.
Judge, I'll make a motion that we approve the budget amendments as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Tooley, to approve the budget amendments as presented. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. Item 16, consider and take action on payment of bills. And Ms. Maple.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I have two sets of bills I need approval on today. For 2020, the amount is $271,950.05.
Commissioner Thomas, questions?
I have no questions, Judge.
Commissioner Tooley?
I have none, Judge.
Commissioner McCam?
I have none.
Commissioner Richardson?
No questions, Judge.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Thomas, to approve the bills for fiscal year 2020 in the amount of $271,950.05. All those in favor? Item passes. Ms. Maple?
And yes, sir, for 2021, I have $186,051.80.
Commissioner Thomas?
No questions, Judge.
Commissioner Tooley?
I have none.
Commissioner McCam?
None.
Commissioner Richardson?
No questions.
If there's no questions, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Richardson, to approve the fiscal year 2021 bills in the amount of $186,051.80. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes unanimously.
Thank you, Court.
Thank you. Item 17, consider and take action on submitted plats, and it looks like we have one today.
In precinct 4, and all things are paid.
All right. Commissioner Richardson?
Yes, Court, this is in the Wagon Tree subdivision located in precinct 4, and they're going to divide lot 6, creating lots 6-R1 and 6-R2. All their paperwork's in place. I'd sent a letter to James Bailey for the septic system approval, and he said everything looked good on that, and so we're asking to divide this lots.
Questions for the Commissioner? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to replat lot 6 in the Wagon Tree subdivision located in precinct 4, creating lots 6-R1 and 6-R2 for filing purposes only.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Richardson, second by Commissioner McCam, to approve the replat in the Wagon Tree subdivision of Lot 6, creating lots 6-R1 and 6-R2 for filing purposes only. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. Item 18 is open and consider bids. Ms. Nicholson, you got anything for us?
Yes, sir. I need to get the specifications approved for the road materials for 2021.
Gentlemen, we don't have that in the backup. Do you have it available in front of you, or at least it's...
There's an email sent.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
When was that seen?
We're looking in the, for the email, it wasn't presented in the backup for the agenda.
Okay, do we need to put that on next week?
No, we can move ahead. Gentlemen, do y'all have that in front of you? I don't have a copy of it.
I do.
Do the specifications look good? As a part of our process, of course, all specifications on bids have to be approved by court before they go out.
I just sent it to you.
Would you please?
I just did.
You did. All right. Gentlemen, any questions or comments? Is this on road materials, or what is this?
Tires.
I've got tires here. What about, is it tires or road materials?
Road materials.
Road material.
Oh, road material.
Yeah, it's road material sent,
Okay.
I just emailed it again to everyone.
yeah.
Ah, there it is.
Sorry. I thought we was doing tires.
All right, gentlemen, concerning the road materials bid, we good with the specifications?
Is there wrap in here? Is recycled asphalt in this?
Ms. Nicholson?
I'm sorry, I'm looking on here.
It's not normally,
I don't think we ever went out for bid on that.
no, given that it's,
I know we never have, but there is a,
I don't see it, I can add it though.
There are some of the contractors that do offer it for sale, because we bought some at one time before.
given the unique nature of recycled asphalt being that it is a reclaimed product and not something that is manufactured, is it an item that should be bid, or since it's not a manufacturable product? Because it's kind of hard to, you cannot, well, I guess they could get it from the state through contracts and provide it. It's just one of those that is very unique. Given it on an individual basis, Ms. Lee, I'm not sure what, or maybe even our county attorney, on procurement law, how that would affect RAP being a road material in procurement.
so can I ask this question?
Mm-hmm.
If we were gonna use RAP, and we bought over $50,000 of it, where does that fall in with the bidding price and bids and the $50,000 requirement from a company.
It's a good point. Anything over $50,000 collectively is a bid item.
Why don't we just add a line for recycled asphalt on there? Wouldn't that be just as easy? Can't we just add a line for recycled asphalt?
I'm not sure how you would handle the specs for bid something like that, because it would be so unique for each order. I'm not sure how that would work.
No, there's several of these companies that supply recycled asphalt. They can bid it just like they bid rock and pea gravel and everything else.
Somebody outside of our normal manufacturers, or is it?
Yeah, it's usually like Big Creek or someone.
Big city, isn't it? In a big city in Dallas
Yeah, some of
sells
them.
it.
Big city.
But that's the only one I know of.
And some of them, the contractors, like the pile they have there at LaRue now, we've heard that the state owns half of it and the contractor owns half of it. So they may be selling some out of the pile too also. So that's what we did before. The contractor owned one pile and we bought the whole pile from them for $30,000 because it was right in front of our county barn.
But given the concern is that if we issue a bid and award it, then anyone not on that bid list is
Will
then
not be able to sell to us.
excluded
Yes.
from us being able to procure from. Is that correct?
Okay, well then, I'm for leaving it off.
Okay.
And then we
Mr. County Attorney?
My off-the-cuff answer would be it probably is something that you can bid, because yes, it's a recycled product, but there are actually companies like Big City that's their entire business is manufacturing recycled asphalt. So it's probably something that can be bid.
But if there was a pile located in Henderson County that we wanted to go get because it was here locally and we didn't have to pay freight, we went over and picked it up, then we'd have to buy from big cities if we bid it.
Or whoever got the bid.
Right, I'm sorry. Whoever got the
You
bid.
could have local contractors that can bid it where Big City, I don't know that they do their own delivery. So, I mean, you could have local contractors where you bid it delivered here, and that would keep your ties with your local folks. But what you pointed out is just the problem overall with our state bidding laws, is there's all types of products that because of the bidding laws that our hands are tied by, we end up paying more for products than possibly we could go buy outright. But
Right.
that's the state of the law in Texas is why it costs the government so much more to do something than the private sector.
I say we leave it off.
Yeah, we don't want it, it may affect something on our allotment we get from the state too, if we went out for bids for it. We don't know about that also, so.
The allotment has worked well for us for years, so
I mean, I don't buy it.
I wouldn't need any, but again, the allotment's always been plenty for.
Well, I understand with the capability that y'all have with the actual plant that
pug
everyone's
mill.
getting benefit out of, that it can it can increase our savings and increase the durability of our product. So,
But at this, I said to put it on, I suggest that we not put it on.
okay. We haven't had one of these good conversations in a while.
Everything else looks good.
Okay. Any other comments?
It's got mine covered.
All right. Entertain a motion to approving the specifications for a road material bid?
Judge,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, we need to set an open date for the bids. The earliest we can set it is December 28th. Normally, we do bid openings on Tuesday afternoons, which would be December 29th. But it's whatever the court wants to do. It's just normal vendors that we usually use, they're used to doing the bid openings on Tuesday afternoons. It's just kind of our norm. But the earliest that would the court wants to get them done as soon as possible would be on that Monday, the 28th.
But we could do them at the first of the year, Jennifer, is that?
Yes.
That doesn't
if
we're covered.
It's been on another week or so, then now we can do them after January 1st.
Suggestions? Normally, we go at the request of the purchasing department. We kind of let y'all be our guide, so gentlemen, thoughts?
more time with the holidays, that would be my only thing.
Okay.
I don't know if Emery has anything to add to that.
No. Well, give us a date then, in January.
Sorry, my calendar or my desk doesn't go up there. How about January 5th?
I think that's a great time.
All right.
January the 10th would be great for me.
Okay. Then I'm assuming that the wording needs to be set, so we've never set a date in our motion before. That's why I'm a little hesitant about how we move through this.
It's just for the document itself, so that I can put it on in the document.
Then then January the 5th, gentlemen? Y'all good with that?
Perfect for me.
All right.
You say the 5th or the
Perfect.
10th?
Would you repeat the date, please?
January 5th, yeah.
5th, as in 5?
Yes, sir.
All right, the 5th.
Sorry.
Perfect.
I heard the 10th.
Motion.
I'll make the motion, started on the 5th of January.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Richardson to approve the bid specifications for road materials and setting it open for January the 5th at 2 p.m. Any further comments?
Yeah. We won't be meeting on that date, so does that not happen?
No, they open upstairs and
Okay.
then do the analysis and then provide it later. This is strictly for the vendors and purchasing department. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
And I do believe our last item, which, pardon me, and you got yours off too. I accidentally closed out my agenda. What number is the last one? Item, what? Item 8, item 19. Consider and take action to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Thomas to adjourn.